Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today we are looking at the Mauler main battle tank. The Mauler, which was first released in the United States in 1985, included the driver heavy metal. The Mauler was also sold in '86 and unfortunately was discontinued in 1987. So, this is another one of those motorized tanks that we had gotten. Um, we had the Mobat, and now we have the Mauler. Um, and the Mauler is a very nice, kind of futuristic looking version of what I would say the M1 or yeah, M1 Abrams. Because my mind is kind of drawn a blank as it normally does when we get in front of the computer screen here. So we do have a nice picture of heavy metal here, and then we go on to our wonderful tank. So a nice front view of our tank as well as a rear view. Um, we have the nice exhaust for the turbine engine here. And this does have a very good kind of Abrams look to it, in my mind, at least. And of course, it's got a different housing up here and all that for our cannon. And then we have the other side here. It's just beautiful view. It's a very nice looking tank. We were able to get two Joes in there, and I kind of snuck forward because when we get to our setup for putting this into Star Wars here, I have it sitting for people. The actual file card, when we actually look at it, it said only three. Um, and the reason why I chose four is, most modern tanks, and here's our twin turbine engines, or if it's considered the same one, or however you want to look at it. This is our forward and reverse and all that kind of piece here. Um, Wonderful view. Let's see. It looks like Ricondo's up here, and that's probably our driver here, heavy metal, right there. Let's see. Back in a box. Nice look at it. You can see it's a little worn here, but it's still wonderful to look at. Side view, another side view. Somebody really enjoyed having this thing. Whoever uploaded all the pictures, it is just wonderful to see. Okay, trying to get it all put together. That's going to be a lot of fun. All right, and then we're all the way back to the front. So, kind of looking at this, we do have easily broken pieces, had two antennas and a tow cable, two grenade launches, which were easily broken or misplaced. Okay, and then we have Sunbow. Of course, we got to see it a couple different times in the cartoon. Uh, Here it is in the Action Force for the comics. I'm sure that Marvel had it plenty of times in the U.S. comics as well. Um, it just makes sense being the main battle tank here. All right, so getting to the old file card, this is listed at being 58 tons. Speed is about 65 miles an hour on the road and 37 cross country. Um, we have governors on here on a lot of our tracked vehicles, and they can only go that certain speed. So um, I'll give them the liberty. I mean, it's a cartoon and all that stuff, but I will say that, like, because I drove a Bradley, our speed is our speed. We didn't have a road speed and off road speed or whatever. Um, we were governed to about like 30, 35 miles an hour. That's it. Um, so it doesn't matter what we're running on. That's all we're really going. Um, so that's all we can do. It says it has a range of 450 miles, which is pretty. I don't know exactly how far we could go. We never got our gas tank that low. I will say that I was the platoon sergeant's driver, and my platoon sergeant had really stressed on me. Any chance we have the opportunity to top off, he said, "I don't care if you topped off 5 minutes ago. Somebody else comes around with extra gas. Get some extra gas in there because we never know when we're going to get refueled." Um, so as far as that goes, we never got low on gas. We always tried to keep her, and I wasn't in combat, so let's put that first and foremost out there. just doing training missions and everything else, um, we never got low on fuel. We always had someone coming around making sure we were topped off. Um, so I honestly don't know. I don't remember if they ever explained as to how far we could go in a Bradley, and I'm going to say it's got to be somewhere similar as to what we can do with our uh, Abrams and all that stuff. So uh, because we all worked hand in hand with each other, the tankers worked not that far off from us, mechanized infantry, and our Bradleys were support for us, and vice versa. And the tanks would be not too far off because, unfortunately, if you see a Bradley, it looks like a tank, so they would shoot at us like a tank. So, keeping that all in mind, I really don't know. Primary armament. The only gun that's got listed is the 105 millimeter. Uh, they're saying it's a M68 gun with 75 rounds of high explosive warheads. So I'd kind of argue that a little bit, whether it's just 75 rounds that they can carry, but you're going to have a couple different types of rounds that you're going to kind of cycle through. Um, but it's their world, so I'm not going to argue any of that. Okay, so armament, top mounted smoke dispensers, and anti personnel charges, um, which I did not throw any of that in there. So the only thing I have on this is just the main cannon. Um, Notes makes use of the uh, I don't know how to pronounce that AGT 1500E turbine engine. So it is considered a single engine, but it's a turbine engine. And I will say for some cold, wet infantrymen that didn't have their tracks around, we had a tank crew that was being very benevolent to us, and they fired her up so we could kind of dry off on a cold, wet afternoon as they're staying nice and dry inside the tank. All right, so having from the TAC, um, another wonderful view of the Mauler here. All right, a two-man armored tank with track turning, removable turbine engine, and smoke grenade launcher. Let's see, we have 12 cylinder twin supercharged diesel engine, giving us 1,800 horsepower, road speed is 62 miles an hour, range 500 miles. So this is upgraded from the other one, so it's actually giving us a little extra range. The DX Z Series 2 digital ballistics computer for our targeting. We, jokingly always called the tankers CDATs. So if anybody's out there and knows what a CDAT is, have a good laugh. It computerized dumb A tankers is what we call them. The M1 Abrams, and I'm sure that they've put this on a lot of the like the Bradley by now. I don't know. Maybe they did. Maybe they didn't. Um, you could put it on there, and even though you're going over rough terrain, it will keep that barrel right on target. So it's a computerized targeting system. And if they miss, it's like, oh my God, how do you miss when you have a computer system that will lock you onto whatever? All right, and also upgraded the cannon here. Remember before on our old file card, it was a 105 millimeter. Now we have a 125 millimeter earthquake cannon. So they upgraded that on us. And we have heavy metal and airtight are both sitting here. Recovering from ill effects of Destro's creeper bomb, Dr. Mindbender and the Baroness launched the surprise attack while the GIJoes run maneuvers in the desert near Las Vegas. So, probably sitting there in Fort Irwin. Okay. So I consider this a main battle tank, but they called it the mobile battle tank because it was motorized. And of course, we have a nice file card. The Mauler was one of the most powerful three-man armored vehicles in the GIJoe conventional weapons arsenal, deployed to all heavy ordnance fields of operation. This iron steamroller flattens Cobra's forces every time. So, um, it is a little bit of, you know, this is a series one or whatever. It's interesting how we go from a 2-man team to a 3-man team, whatever. And I'm being honest, I'm going to confuse it even more because I've got this as a 4-man team. Um, we only have room for 2 people in here, but typically in the turret, you have 2 people. You have your gunner. Actually, I think it's like a 5-man team, and only one of them is a driver because you got a track commander, a gunner, a loader, and I think you have like another sub person for whatever else they're doing. So um, I think it's a 5-man. Maybe it is only 4, but I'm just leaving it as 4. And this is the last that we've got on this. Okay, and let's see. We had the Mauler, and then we also had the uh, equalizer. I'm going to click on this one. So this is a upgraded version. So it's not just the no. This is a whole different turret on there. So we have 2, it looks like 25 millimeters, and then a bunch of missiles on there. Using the same format, but now it gives us something there. And we have the Lynx, which is using the same cannon, but it's a different basis, probably a lighter weight basis here. Um, Makes some interesting changes to it. So, all right. And we'll kind of switch. All right, so here we are. So we have it listed as the Mauler MBT. MBT. Wow. And when I was looking at it, it said manned battle tank. So, it just is what it is. Now, this is going to be at Walker scale, which is very appropriate for the Star Wars universe. It is 26 feet long, so it puts it at 7.92 meters. I gave it that crew of 4, like I was saying. We don't have room for any other passengers really in there. Cargo capacity is, I gave it 600 pounds. Now, the whole reason for that is that's extra ammo or whatever else. So keep that in mind. Full coverage, it is ground level. Maneuverability, now, I was given a lot of the other lighter tanks a 3D. I'm going to give this a 2D. Probably even a +1. So let's give it a +1. All right. Now, it did say it can go 65 miles per hour. I think that's a little too fast, but we're going to keep it. It's got it in the file card, so why not? We'll keep it. So body strength is 60. I wanted this to be nice and resilient and all that. I felt that was, nice and proper for it. And we have the heavy blaster cannon, so that's, the whole thing here. Now, here's the other thing to keep in mind. If this is not ammo based anymore and this is using a laser, are we really needing the extra ammunition there? Or is it going to be kind of like what George Lucas had done in the Clone Wars, where they have like an energy charge shell that gets loaded into there, it gets shot, and that shell remnant gets ejected. So you can look at it in either regard on that. I don't know really what to tell you. In my view of it, I would say it's probably like another generator or something. I think they might be getting enough power from the engines to shoot this, but I like to think of it as it doesn't need like ammo canisters or anything. So um, it is turreted for the cannon. It's at Walker scale. And saying we can go up to 18 kilometers, has a fire control of 4D because of that computer system that they talk about. And I just upped it. I had it at 5D damage. I wanted it a little bit more, so I gave it a 7D damage. Um, maybe if we can explain it that the older one with the 105 would be 5 and now the 125 would be 7, either way. But that's what I gave it. I think it's pretty good representation of our vehicle here. I think the Mauler being another iconic vehicle for the GIJoe team, I think this does give it some pretty good teeth. Um, we don't see it being dragged out all the time. Being at 58 tons, it's a medium. I think that would keep it like a medium weight for a tank. Um, I think that's a little heavy for a lot of the rapid response, but there again, if you have these staged up here and there or whatever else, that does kind of help things out. Um, once you start getting higher weights or whatever, can you airdrop this stuff in? Can you do touch and goes? Can you whatever? Um, yeah, I don't know. Um, I don't know how wide this would be. If this would even, I don't know what. I should probably look that up. I don't know what the actual weight allowance that they have for C-130. If you were going to do a touch and go with that, or if GIJoe in their world would have a different kind of plane or whatever, and what their weight capacity for doing like a touch and go or an airdrop or whatever would be. So just kind of saying from there. Because these are things I've never experienced or anything else. I don't have anything to fall back on to say, well, I think it could be this. I'm just kind of purely going off of as a complete observer on this aspect. So with that, I think we have a good grasp of the vehicle, though. If you think things should be a little different, let me know in the comments. Love to hear from you. We'll see you in the next video.